Lady Lollipop by Dick King Smith, Chapter 11. I'll give that boy a job. Come along then, all of you, said the Queen, but Johnny could see that they needed to play for time. The carpenters had not yet completed the exchange of doors. Excuse me, ma'am, he said to the Queen. Lollipop may need to make herself comfortable before we go indoors. Oh, let me tell her, Johnny, cried the princess. I haven't got any horse biscuits on me, but she did sit when I told her to just now. Let me try, can I? Johnny nodded, and with that Penelope said to Lollipop in a bright, encouraging voice, Busy, good pig, busy! As the Queen watched in amazement, the pig marched back into the center of the rose garden and deposited a generous supply of pig dung at the foot of the fine floribunda. Just the stuff for growing prize roses, ma'am, said Johnny quietly to the Queen. She did it, cried the princess. She did it when I told her to, Johnny. Did you see, Mommy? Did you see, Daddy? It isn't only Johnny she obeys. It's me, too. And confidently she called, Come, Lollipop. And Lollipop came. And then heel. And Lollipop walked sedately to heel beside the princess, followed by the king and Johnny and a mystified queen. Even more mystified was when they reached the palace garden's door, for she could see how different it looked now. What is that in the door? She asked. It's a pig flap, Mommy, said the princess. It's an invention of Johnny's. Lollipop will be able to go in and out as she likes. But her feet, said the Queen, looking at the pig's muddy trotter. Don't worry, ma'am, said Johnny. If you will all go inside, you'll see. So the royal family all went in through the new garden door, while Johnny kept Lollipop sitting beside him outside. Once they had closed the door behind them, Johnny called, Right! And from inside, the princess called, Come, Lollipop! And the pig pushed open the big flap with her snout and entered. Wipe your feet, commanded the princess, and then her pig carefully wiped her trotters, one after another, on the doormat. How they praised the princess's pig, and how they laughed when the pig flap swung open again, and through it, on hands and knees and grunting loudly, came Johnny Skinner, grinning all over his face. After that, everything went swimmingly. As they made their way through the palace, Lollipop, walking close at heel beside the princess, made a series of strange little noises, snuffles, chuckles, and chortles, as she looked around her in wonder at all the rich furnishings, at the ornaments of gold and silver, at the portraits of the king's ancestors looking down at her from the tapestried walls, and felt beneath her trotters the thick softness of the priceless carpets upon which, though she did not know it, she would in future always be able to walk on. And at tea time the pig behaved perfectly. She didn't exactly sit up at the table with a napkin around her neck as Penelope had dreamed, but she ate toasted butter tea cakes from a silver dish as delicately as a lady. So what do you think, Eth? Asked the king. What do I think about what? Asked the queen. About Lollipop. I hardly know what to think, replied the queen, fingering the two red rosettes she wore. Today has been so extraordinary, but Penelope's pig is certainly a most remarkable animal. With a most remarkable trainer by the name of Johnny Skinner, said the king. And a most remarkable owner, cried the princess, who is now going to keep her pet pig in the palace, but only, of course, if her mother says that she can. Please, Mommy. Johnny and the king both looked at the princess, and each thought, what a cunning little minx. The queen looked at her daughter and thought how she had changed. Gone were the sulks and the shouting and the selfishness, and instead there was this little happy, jolly little girl. How had it happened? It must be something to do with that boy. Can I, Mommy? The princess said again. Can I keep her here?
please?" The queen fed another tea cake to the pig. "We'll see," she said. King and princess looked at each other, and father winked at daughter. The battle was won, they knew, but each was thinking, what about Johnny? "What about Johnny, F?" said King Theophilus. "What about him?" "Well, he can't spend the rest of his life in a stall, not after all he's done for us, in the way of helping Penelope with her pig, I mean." It is something to do with that boy, thought Queen Ethelwyn. And just as though she could read that thought, Lollipop turned to the queen and made her high-pitched yes grunt. "I thought as much," said the queen to herself. It's he who had made Penelope so much more reasonable. And my roses. He's so good on roses. And that pig, cultivator, and dung spreader rolled into one. I'll give the boy a job." "Well?" said the king. "Well?" said the princess. "Well," said the queen, "I could do with some help in the garden. And there's a cottage vacant. It's very small but cozy. How would you like to be my under gardener, Johnny?"